안녕하세요. This is going to be a bit short lesson. You're going to learn how to make adjective clause modifier in the present tense in this video. Let's go. Let's learn about the clause modifier, which has an adjective in the present tense as a predicate. There's nothing new because adjective modifier conjugation rule that we learned applies to adjective clause modifier in present simple tense too. So the basic rule is when the last letter of the stem doesn't have a final consonant, you add the final n consonant to the last letter of the stem. And when the last letter of the stem has a final consonant, you add n sound to the stem. All the irregular conjugation rules that we learned for adjective modifier apply as well. Let's make an actual sentence which has an adjective clause modifier in the present tense then. Let's check out the English sentence. There is a painting which is very old in my house. We told you that an adjective which is in an adjective clause modifier in the present simple tense follows the same conjugation rule of adjective modifier. Are you confused because of all the similar terms? You know, we had to turn the basic form of an adjective into a certain form to use it as a modifier. That's what we call adjective modifier. Like the adjective pretty modifies the noun girl, pretty girl. An adjective clause modifier in the present tense is the thing that we are learning now. Fortunately, adjective clause modifier in the present tense follows the same conjugation rule that adjective modifier follows. If you don't remember how to turn the basic form of an adjective into a modifier, please go back to lesson 6 part 1. Let's rearrange the words. What is the subject? Actually, the pronoun there is the subject in English, but it doesn't work like a subject in a Korean sentence. So you should use painting as a subject. Which is very old part modifies the noun painting. So which is very old part comes right before the noun painting. There is part is used to mean to exist or to be at a location. So the entire there is part is going to be a predicate. Therefore, let's put the entire there is part at the end of the sentence. In my house part is a place-related one, so let's put it right before the predicative part there is. Which is very old. Painting. In my house there is. Which is very old part explains painting in English, but in Korean it modifies a painting part. So it is positioned right before the noun a painting. Please do not care whether which here is used as a subject or not. Doesn't matter. Because of the fact that the entire which is very old part modifies a painting part, we are not going to translate which. And then an adjective old here is used as a predicate of the clause. So it will come at the end of the clause. Needless to say, the be verb is useless in a Korean sentence. Very is an adverb. It modifies the predicate old, and it's already positioned right before an adjective old. The translation of the adverb very is 아주. 아주. There are two basic forms of the adjective old. One is used for non-living things, and the other one is used for living things. 오래되다 is an adjective, and it's used for non-living things. 늙다. Don't worry about the pronunciation. We are not learning this on this page. Anyway, 늙다 is a verb which means grow old and is used for living things. So getting old is an action in Korean. How exciting is it? Painting is not a living thing. So we're gonna use the adjective 오래되다. The stem is 오래돼. In order to turn this adjective into a modifier, we need to add the final n consonant because the last letter of the stem, 돼, doesn't have a final consonant. 오래된, 오래된, 오래된. Very old, 아주 오래된. Painting, 그림, 그림. Let's use the subject particle 이. 그림이, 그림이. In my house. When I or my is understood. In other words, when the listener knows that you are talking about your house, you can omit the possessive my. My is 제 though. House is 집. In my house part has a preposition in, and it's used to say something is in, at, or on somewhere. So you can add a particle 에, 집에. There is. You use the predicate 있다 when you want to say something exists or something is at a location. If you add 어요 sound, it will become 있어요, 있어요, which is very old, 아주 오래된. Painting, 그림이. In my house, 제 집에. There is, 있어요. 아주 오래된 그림이 제 집에 있어요. 아주 오래된 그림이 제 집에 있어요. There is a painting which is very old in my house. You can use 되게 to mean very instead of 아주, and it's used very, very commonly in spoken Korean. 되게 오래된 그림이 제 집에 있어요. 되게 오래된 그림이 제 집에 있어요. It's nothing, right? The point is, the same conjugation rule which is used to turn the basic form of an adjective into an adjective modifier is used to turn the adjective clause in the present simple tense into a modifier. Do you get it? Let's see one more thing and go on to the next. Please check out this sentence. There is a very old painting in my house. What is the translation of this sentence? Amazingly, the translation of this sentence will be the same as that of the first sentence. There is a painting which is very old in my house. It's of course because of the fact that Korean language follows the principle of pre-modifier. So, which is very old part in the first sentence and very old part in the second sentence will be positioned in the same place and translated into the same phrase in Korean. What can we find out from this? In English, relative clause, such as which is very old part here, is totally different thing, which has totally different grammatical structure and terms. But in Korean, maybe we can think that there is no separate concept of a relative clause, since we don't use the concept of relative pronoun, relative adverb and stuff. They are all just modifiers. No matter whether it's a clause or an adverb or an adjective, we just add a sort of sound to the stem to turn it into a modifier. But you wouldn't be able to understand the concept of Korean clause modifiers if you don't compare them with that of English relative clause and stuff. Okay? Just feel it that way and move on. This is the end of YouTube version lesson 6 part 3. You're going to learn how to make verb clause modifiers and adjective clause modifiers in the past tense in the upcoming videos. 그럼 다음 비디오에서 만나요. 안녕히 계세요.